Hi everybody, Zach here for another episode of our flagship program, the Spidey-Dude Experience. This episode is brought to you by our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/Spidey-Dude Network. Pledge today and get both early access to content on the main channel, as well as entirely exclusive content, like brand new shows and commentaries for old Spidey stuff, including commentaries for the MTV series, for example, as well as the video editions for Voices from the Area Gargoyles podcast. And our Patreon first show focused on the Krakoan era of X-Men. We also want to encourage you to check out our other programs that are all available on Audio Edition. These are all over on Spidey-Dude.com, and they're available on your favorite podcasting app. Shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started this entire network, Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Sal Buscema era podcast, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Slot Symposium, and the sister program on this channel, Make Mine Mayday. As always, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help us big time in the algorithm. And additionally, if you have topics you'd like to cover on a live show or in a recorded medium, make sure to leave a comment down below the description or shoot us an email at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Finally, make sure to join our community and be alerted to all new updates by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on the bell. But to be clear, your viewership is more than enough for us. And if you want to hang out with us off YouTube, you can always go to our Discord, where we have all sorts of fun stuff, or you can join us on our social medias and follow us there. All the links are down in the description below. As always, we want to be making some references to visual aids and or live comments. If you're an audio listener, pay that no mind, but leave that 5-star review for us. Any and all feedback we will read on future episodes. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get rolling with this episode of the Spidey-Dude Experience. And we are back. I am Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood webmaster of Spidey-Dude.com and executive producer of the Spidey-Dude Radio Network. And as always, when it comes to ASM, it seems I have my trusty stalwart, Adam. Welcome back, Adam.
Hey, Zach.
We are back, and we are going to talk a little bit of news. We'll talk a little bit about ASM. We're going to be covering 2 issues tonight. For those that are audio listeners, I am holding up issue number 21, and I am also holding up issue number 22. So we are not talking about today's issue that came out today. We will talk about that in a couple of weeks, as we will do the beginning of the Death Spiral. We're going to wrap up the previous 2 issues. So minor spoilers for the last month of comics. Adam, it's been a little bit. Last time we talked, it was the ultimate Spidey-Dude Experience, but now we're back to just amazing Spidey-Dude Experience.
Yep, that's true.
We've already got the comments. The boys are back in town. Pixel Classroom Podcast, aka Ryan. Thank you for being on the show. He was patiently waiting. I believe he was the one person waiting for us on the YouTubes. All right, so first things first, we are going to talk a little bit about, well, some wedding news. I didn't think we'd ever do celebrity gossip, but you know what? So the last week, there was a discussion on the red carpet. I believe it was at the BAFTAs. And apparently, well, Zendaya and Tom Holland allegedly got married. So,
Gasp.
Yep. So the MJ Peter Parker art meets life. So they're already married. Apparently, La Roche is the stylist of Zendaya and basically spilled the beans. They were during the Actor Awards red carpet. Now we're getting this from InStyle magazine because, again, celebrity gossip, things I didn't expect to be doing in 2026. But hey, here we are. So I don't know if he was supposed to spill the beans, but I think he just was like, yeah. Zendaya, I don't care that you're an icon. Just like a pop-up. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have been like kind of wondering when this was going to happen. There was a lot of discussion late last year that they got engaged. Apparently they've stepped out together recently with all this. When I went to the Googles to talk about this, Yeah. So, I mean, this was earlier this week that this was announced, and I think it was Sunday. So, like I say, kind of big news.
Some people were posting Mephisto images, and I hope they don't get separated, because then everyone's going to be posting the Mephisto images
if they
again.
ever
So.
it's a typical, like, we know that there's a specific life cycle of these unions. It's very rare that these last a long time. But we
They have
wish.
been together for like 10 years, more or less. So.
Yeah, I mean they've
almost 10. Like,
I don't remember when they exactly started dating, but look, good for them, man. Like,
sure.
good for the two of them. As somebody that's been married twice, I'm not going to be the one to give marriage advice because I clearly don't know how to be married. Anyway, but yeah. So obviously there was a lot of jokes. Is he going to sacrifice his aunt? To
that already happened.
Yeah.
In the movie.
It already happened. So again, it's a unique situation, obviously, and yeah. So like I say, it was big breaking news. Now there was some Marvel Legends news. Legends reveals. Now we had the first reveal of 2026. They had a live stream. So they basically revealed a few things. Toy Fair also happened. We got a Professor Hulk revealed. There was the Daredevil 2-pack. I'm pulling up Marvelous News right now. So from marvelousnews.com, I am sharing the Daredevil 2-pack right here because this just went up on pre-order. This is Bullseye and Marvel's Muse, fresh with his. They couldn't say what the paint's made of, but they said it was highly painted. This is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. They also revealed from Entertainment Earth the latest Secret Wars wave. So let me go to that. Come on. So the latest Secret Wars wave is now available, which includes a Spider-Man, an Absorbing Man, if you consider him a Spider-Man villain. Earth. So these are available right now for pre-order. So all right, so let's just share screen. Apologies for the technical difficulties. All right, so this is the Daredevil, probably the most anticipated figure of the wave.
I do like that one.
This is based on the design of the figure from Secret Wars, so that's why he's got the black DD. He's kind of bigger. It's got the black accents. Yeah. So if you looked at the original figure from the 80s, this is definitely ripped straight out. It's got the radar sense port that pegs in the back, and then of course the lenticular shield that came with it that nobody cares about other than if you're just an box collector. I feel like this is Matt's first solo figure in 10 years. 12 years, excuse me. So they've released him in 2-packs. They've released him in 3-packs. This is a all new sculpt, sort of based on the original Spider-Man design. So this is a sculpt that's exclusive to Daredevil. The original Daredevil from the Hobgoblin wave back in 2014 was based on the Bucky Cap body. So it's kind of cool that Matt finally gets his own figure. Let's see, where is the Secret Wars? Where's the rest of the Secret Wars? Wait, stop. Damn. They also revealed at Toy Fair this figure, the the Iron Spider Aaron Davis. So a little bit of new sculpting on the torso, but largely the same figure as the Iron Spider from before. So if you wanted to get that particular design, that's going to be available. That was announced at Toy Fair. The Kingpin has been re-released now for the third time, by the way. All right. You got Magic in her New Mutants version of Magic. You've got... Here's the Spidey. All right. So this is the new Spidey, and he is based on the Renew Your Vows body, with a little bit of the battle damage on one arm, and doesn't have the right head sculpt, to be honest, but it's like a part symbiote version is like crawling on him. If you're a Spidey fan and you like it, it's all up to you. It's got the little orb like from the Secret Wars story. It's not exactly a one-for-one recreation of the moment in Secret Wars, but some people like it, some people don't. The lenticular shield I can do without. I really don't care. But that was the only Spidey figure that was announced. I don't remember if I think we covered Grizzly, so that's been covered. The other figures in this wave, including Absorbing Man, Titania. No. Titania was the last wave. Sorry. Absorbing Man. They usually have the full set. Anyway, we decided to do new news today, like late in the game. That's why I don't have this pulled up. Anyway, so yeah, more of that.
Oh, wait, is that him right there?
Oh, hang on. I was just gonna go zoom in on this. So you have Constrictor, Falcon, and Absorbing Man. That's the rest of that wave. They also, so they teased. I think they teased a Mole Man, like a deluxe Mole Man. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. The Daredevil I know had been kind of rumored. A lot of this was, if you look at the leak lists, this was definitely on there. Everybody kind of thought it was going to be a symbiote Spidey, but I feel like they are saving that for later in the year in the Maximum series. Oh, they did announce the Maximum series Thor, which is based not on the classic Thor, but on the Oliver Capiel version from the JMS run. So that was the other big reveal that they made. Okay, so covered toy news. There is the mini series that was announced. That's Holy Corporate Synergy Batman.
And the other one, both of them, Brand New Day and Long Way Home.
Yeah,
I'll put the links in the chat.
Yeah, we'll put the links in the chat. I'm pulling it up from Marvel's press release. So this was announced today, as of this recording, on March 4th. So basically, Jonathan Hickman, Adam Kubert teaming up to tell the grittiest Spider-Man story of the modern age, co-starring Punisher, and Hulk in Spider-Man Long Way Home. This is similar in the spirit and the vein of Wolverine Revenge, which I know our friend Neil did not like. He thought it was one of the worst things that Jonathan Hickman's written in a long time. So, this is the cover to it. There's apparently a foil variant cover by Dave Johnson, but this is the Adam Kubert. Basically, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Punisher are trying to track down a cosmic cube in South America because AIM. That's what the press release says. So, and then yes, Dan Slott, our good friend, our buddy, our pal, is back. All right, Dan Slott, Brand New Day 2026. So, Holy Corporate Synergy Batman, Spectacular Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Now, we thought that this was only going to be a mini-series, but this was
it is.
Yeah.
Well,
so
he basically, Slott said that it was going to be an ongoing, but then it got solicited as a mini series, 1 of 5, and then Slott said, well, if it sells well, we'll do more. So, I mean, there you go.
So basically, they're taking the 2000s Spectacular Spider-Man logo and the Brand New Day logo, slapping it together, and we're getting a new story written by Dan Slott. Marcus So and Marcos Martin are doing the art on it. Phil Jimenez is back doing the cover for at least the first issue. And I'm going to say this because I've said this in the past about Phil Jimenez, but at least he finally figured out how to draw Spider-Man's eyes. I love Phil Jimenez's artwork. I never liked how he drew Spider-Man's eyes. I always thought he drew them weird. Here, it looks like he finally has done it more of a traditional way. They were just too long and skinny for me, for my liking, and not like skinny in like the Ramita sense, but like skinny, like long, yeah, it was weird. But yeah, so that is the two new series. Will we review it? Obviously, we joked about reviewing it in 2035 whenever we get to it on Slot Symposium.
I think we might review it now.
Yeah, I think we're going to review it on the show. We'll probably wait, kind of like, especially once Death Spiral's done,
right?
Because really, for the next 2 months, we're going to be kind of in the throes of a Death Spiral. But I had to.
There it is.
It was too easy. Yeah, so we'll put the articles in the chat. Chat, let me know what you think. I know some people are going to be like, no, it's Slott again. He's not in the main book. Like he's playing a supporting role. I know there are people that are very tired of the same group of writers from the Brand New Day era constantly being brought back.
It would be kind of nice to get some new people.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm of this. I kind of am in the same boat as them. It's because for me, it's like, okay, a DeMatteis, a DeFalco, like that's my era. There are people that started reading these books during Brand New Day,
yeah,
or during Slott's run, and that's all they've known.
Yeah,
unless they go back and read the original books. I am of the belief that there is a need for new writers. The problem is I think nobody wants to take on ASM. I think the pressure, in terms of it being the flagship book and it being probably the most heavily editorially influenced book on the shelves, and it's because of the schedule. It's not because of anything else. It's because of the schedule. It's like taking on writing not just one book, but like writing 3 or 4 books at the same time. We know that we're on the road to 1,000. We know we're getting that this year. It's going to be interesting to see how many of the old guard, now that they've lived long enough to see ASM 1000, how much of that's gonna continue. People are gonna continue to read it past that point. It's gonna be either a line of demarcation or a jumping on point, potentially. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Adam, thoughts on these miniseries?
I mean, the Brand New Day one is fine, sure. When I saw the the team up one, I was like, I know, I mean, it's to be expected, but it's just that's like just blatant synergy right there.
It is the most,
because blatant. It's got the 3 because we know that Hulk's in it in the movie. We know Punisher's in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the one that's just like, oh geez. I think
Yeah,
I would rather have more of like conceptually, I'd rather have like a straight up Spider-Man story, which is probably what the Slott Brand New Day one is going to be, rather than a Marvel team up kind of thing. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how they are when they're out, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess we'll get to the Ryan's at this point. He wants new writers. So let's get to the point in the review now that we've gotten through the news. So first up, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Amazing Spider-Man 21. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to take the banner or the comment down. Excuse me. So we have Joe Kelly. But for these next two issues, we're going to have a lot of artists and a lot of inkers and a lot of color artists. So I'm going to just do the teams on each issue. We got Joe Kelly's the writer, Ramita Jr. and Todd Knock are pencilers, Scott Hanna and Todd Knock are the inkers, Macario Minez, Marty Garcia, and Eric Arcicanea are the color artists. If I butchered the name, I'm so sorry. The cover artists, Ramita Jr., Scott Hanna, Macario Minez, the standard team. We had Lee Bermero, which is the Amazing Visions, David Nakamaya, the color block red, Steve Rude, and Paul Mounts. So there was only 3 variant covers for this particular issue. So we open with the Osborn family tree. This is done by Todd Knock and all the goblins and everything. Kind of a cool little visual. And we have the spider people trying to help out Norman, because remember, Norman got stabbed at the end of last issue. Kingsley is trying to go look on. Basically, Norman's like, you need guidance and wisdom because we're setting up our 5-issue miniseries coming out later this year. Basically, Miles uses his lightning powers and, causes a major disruption. So the Peter's boss that we're supposed to care about has a scene. We get to Westchester County where we've switched artists. So the home of Liz Allen, Hobgoblin is going for the home. Norman shows up with flying a goblin glider. So we have I remember we talked about last issue, the cover for last issue, and how there wasn't a fight between the goblin and Norman Spidey.
Yeah. Now we do have that.
In this issue we finally have that. It's a confrontation. Turns out the Goblin Slayers, the leader of the Goblin Slayers, the reason they were so mad at the end of last issue, it turns out it was Emily Osborn.
What?
Yep, Emily Osborn was the one that was behind the mask. And I thought she was just going to be thrown in a time dilation portal and never seen again. But guess what? She's back. Somebody's going to do something with her. We then go back to, we went from Norman Osborn with John Romita Jr. back to Norman Osborn, drawn by Todd Knock. Peter shows back up in his tech suit. Norman falls into Peter's arms and says, man, I tried to do what you do, but I tried. And that's the end of the issue. Moved my mic. So that is the end of issue 21. You want me to just go do the recap for issue 22?
Yeah, why not?
Let's just knock out the recaps. So I tried to keep them kind of short. Did I succeed? Who knows?
That was a good one. That was decent.
Yeah. All right. So we have issue 22, written by Joe Kelly, Nick Bradshaw, Todd Knock, and Nathan Stockman. ink assists with Scott Hanna. So I don't know if Scott Hanna and Todd Knock and they don't get the same credits. Cover artist was Mark Bagley and Marty Garcia. Marty Garcia and Rochelle Rosenberg were the colorists. There was more cover artists this time with Bermejo, David Nakayama, Simone Bianchi, Ario Anamito, Simone DeMeo, and McFarlane Toys had a variant, which I thought was interesting. So we open in deep space. This is the portion where we finally figure out how Peter's going home, and they're basically all these characters that we've seen over the last 6 months are basically like, I'm going home. Bye, everybody. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Boo. So Peter goes back home, looks for May, realizes that May's not there. She's packed everything up. Meanwhile, his not girlfriend, Raylith the Wretched, and Glitch decide that they're going to hitch a ride with him back to Earth. And Simbi. We cannot forget Simbi. So yes. Peter is, starting to put the pieces together. We then go back to Park Avenue East, where we have, again, what's her name? The Peter's boss that we're supposed to, care about.
Yeah.
Her son looks like he's taking a bunch of drugs or he's dying or something.
Yeah,
we go to a squat somewhere on the west side. The really not nice at all part where we have Ben Reilly.
What?
And who's now a blonde, and Janine. What? Peter crashes in, yelling, "What did you do? What's Aunt May? Did you read my note?" No, clearly. So, yep. So, in one of the strangest moments of the issue, Janine decides she's wearing a tank top, so she decides, and like a sports bra, and so she decides to like lift up her tank top over her head, and that becomes a mask. So now she's like a freaking harpy or something. So Peter and Ben have this kind of awkward confrontation. Turns out Ray, the Wretched, is like dying on this planet. Yeah. So Norman, is getting healed up from his escapades as Spider-Man. We get Johnny Storm with his Fu Manchu. Peter showing up. The Baxter building. Well, not Peter showing up. It's the two that are, Glitch and the Wretched and Simbi are all there in a bit of a comedy spot. Peter goes to the place that Aunt May is staying at, and Aunt May's beau basically tells Peter to go F himself, which is fair. Aunt May basically says, let him in. And he sees that Aunt May is hurt. Peter's there. She says, took your sweet time. Welcome home. Big splash page. They're both in tears. Everything is hunky freaking dory. Shout out to for now. Shout out to Javier Trujillo from Austin, Texas. He is in the letters page. I think we know that guy, don't we? There, Adam?
I believe so.
Yeah, we do. He's a co-host of the Amazing Spider-Man Classics, amongst other podcasts that he does. All right. So that is the recaps of the episode. Woohoo. Oh. And look at Neil. He's even got next episode's thumbnail all ready to go.
Wow.
So, all right. Let's talk about the first issue.
Oh boy.
Storm and Norman as Spider-Man. What do we think about this, Adam?
I don't even know. I guess it's okay. I like the art, actually. I'm looking at the art again, and I like the art quite a bit. I think Romita Jr.'s art at the in the back half is pretty good. He does Hobgoblin a lot better than he did on that cover.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I don't disagree. I think he finally was able to kind of make it his own, and
yeah.
you know, I still don't love the design of him of Kingsley having the wings, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, but it kind of
it is a good dichotomy with Norman on the glider,
yeah.
so it
Yeah.
kind of works in this particular moment.
It makes it a little more visually distinct.
Yes, yes. So it allows there to be this dichotomy between the two sides. It's not just
Yeah.
the same glider with
Yeah.
different heads or whatever.
Yeah.
First Norman Roderick fight ever.
Did they fight during Superior? Was that actually?
No, that was right before. So the Hobgoblin thing kind of got sort of resolved right before Dying Wish. I know
Okay.
Norman and Otto fought, but I don't remember Otto fighting Hobgoblin in Superior.
Well, I remember there was a cover with Green Goblin, Hobgoblin on it, but I don't remember
Chat,
if
let us
if that
know.
was like a fake out or I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've perused that. So
Yeah, the reveal of Emily being the one behind the Spider Slayers,
it's
honestly, makes
oh
all the sense in the world.
yeah, I guess seems kind of well.
It is okay. It's random, but so is Emily Osborn being alive.
Yes, that's
So,
true.
like, we have had no build up. It was just a throwaway thing that they threw in at the end of Slot's run.
Yeah,
Should have been a bigger deal than it was.
probably.
But I'm like, okay, I'm somewhat interested. I can give two shits less about the boss subplot. They're trying to make me care about this character, and I really don't care. You noticed I glossed over both her scenes and
Yeah,
both
they're
the
doing well because what they're well, they're trying to set her up with Norman, which I guess is interesting.
and Emily being around is also an interesting dynamic with Norman, dating somebody now. That might
Yeah, yeah.
again, man, like Todd Knock filling in, I'm not upset by it.
Yeah, I like it.
I think him and McGinnis would be a really solid like team, and I know we're not getting.
I could see that. Yeah.
I know we're getting McGinnis for Death Spiral. He was in today's issue, so that's nice. I'll be honest. I didn't think that Norman was gonna die. Like, we know Norman's not gonna die, right?
Well, he is dying because
Yeah.
that's the reveal in the next issue that the Goblin formula is like killing him or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The man got impaled in the freaking heart and came back from that. So I'm sorry to
Nothing
say,
was
but
ever the same.
if he came back from that, we're giving him the Harry treatment now that the Goblin serum is killing him, but it's actually not
Yes.
killing him.
We'll see what they do with it, I guess.
Yeah. Again, I do not dislike Kelly's voice for Norman.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Though, if you have not been keeping up with any of this might cause you to crash out. But of the Norman 6 issues of Norman as Spider-Man being the basically the lead star, I think this was maybe the weakest issue.
Yeah. I think I might like it a little better than the other issue, though. Maybe.
Okay. So for issue 2021, Letter grade for me.
Huh. Oh, letter grade.
Oh no, number grade. I'm sorry.
Number.
Grade.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'll give it an 8.3. I don't know.
8.3 out of 10. So Adam's grade, 8.3 out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8.0 out of 10. Solid artwork across the board. I thought, I don't love fill-in artists, but at least the way they did it kind of made some sense. If you're going to have a fill-in artist and be Todd Knock, I'm not going to be unhappy with that. I'm a big Todd Knock fan. Some of the better Romita Jr. artwork too, I think.
I do. Like I said, looking at that again, I like it.
Yeah. It plays to Romita Jr.'s strengths, which it was the entire part that he drew was the fight scene.
Yeah. And I do think that Hobgoblin looks pretty good here. Like it kind of, I don't know. I think he nailed it way more than he did for the cover, because the cover was just,
that was bad.
It was great. Bad. Like it just didn't look right.
Yeah, I think I've got the cover. Hang on. We got this one that was just not good.
Right? Oh yeah, there was that, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that one was not the greatest, and that was the cover to 18. And I think it sticks out like a sore thumb because you have his covers next to the covers for with what's his name, the other artist,
Pepe Larraz,
and it's like, yeah, there's clearly a superior set of covers. Like you compare that cover, which is the cover to 19 with the helmet, and then you have the very next issue, it's this cover, which is the cover to with the Hobgoblin, and
it doesn't look right. Just the Hobgoblin, it doesn't look like it's the Hobgoblin design.
No, it really doesn't.
Like it does, but it just doesn't look right to the. It doesn't look like it's Hobgoblin.
The coloring, I think, too.
Yeah, the coloring isn't. The coloring really isn't great because it's all like gray and brown, like
instead of the blue. Yeah.
And it makes it just look like an almost completely different character, even though it's supposed to be. Like you could argue, like, oh, this new Hobgoblin design is kind of like a completely different character, but they've kind of made it.
I just
different and similar enough that
I don't look at it and see it's Roderick. To me, the design says not Roderick. It says Phil Urich to me, but.
And it's just not that imposing on that cover, but in this issue 22, 21 rather, in 21 it looks more like it's Hobgoblin, and and the coloring is correct, and that helps. But it reads better as Hobgoblin in this issue than it does on that previous cover, and it's like, what? Anyway,
so. Okay. So let's get to the next issue. What is it about the next issue that you are not particularly pleased by?
I don't know. I guess it's just kind of, huh?
I said, what a way to tee it up.
I think it's just the wrap up. I mean, they're both wrap up issues, but this one's really like all the loose ends kind of converge. I mean, that's fine, but I don't know. It's just, it feels kind of like too goofy in some points, and it's just, I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling it. I like the art a lot. I think Nick Bradshaw did a good job. And Ryan Stockman and Todd Knock, but I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess the fight between Peter and Ben is all right, but it's just, I don't know. something about it all is just kind of too, I don't know. It's all misunderstandings and just whatever. I don't know. And then like the Aunt May thing at the end, it just feels like we already did this kind of like, the whole like, oh, everything's fine now thing. Like all is forgiven with the being gone and the misunderstandings and everything's cool, but it feels like we already did that at the beginning of this run so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, most of this was Nick Bradshaw, which is, again, he did the covers for
94.
94.
I think honestly he would have been good for a series like 94. And then people wouldn't be complaining as much about the art there. But seeing this, like, he would have been good for a series like that, I think.
Yeah. So, it just like the whole bit with like Ray and everything like that, like getting sick, like to me it was like, ugh, like
it's okay, but it's like
it's clear that these were the pet characters that
right.
Kelly liked to write.
But we got to get him out of the book somehow. Well, we
Yeah.
could have just left them in space, but they want to come to Earth. So it's like, okay, but how are we going to get them out of the book? In the meantime, it's like, well, she's an alien, so Earth's atmosphere is making her sick. So there you go. Like,
yeah, and this whole thing where Peter's like, "Oh my God, Aunt May's dead," like,
right.
The Ben / Peter confrontation. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I was hoping we would get like a conversation, but no, it's like, oh, we got to have like tension. So it's going to be this unnecessary fight scene. I'm sorry. Why the is Ben taking Peter's place? What's the point of him taking Peter's place? Is it to see, well, I don't really want your life now, and we're getting Ben sort of not quite back to factory settings, but he's still technically chasm, whatever. Like, I mean, it felt more like Ben, and it certainly helped that Nock was drawing, part of these pages. Mm-hmm. But again, this one, honestly, you had to me, you had, I mean, 3 artists is too much. It was not nearly as cohesive as the last issue in terms of having a fill-in artist. I don't know if it was because Pepe Larraz got pulled
right
for other projects, aka Superman's Spider-Man, which, I mean, in my opinion, that's a much bigger deal. I get it. Basically take 2 months to draw the book.
Yeah, Nock only did like 1 page here. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
It's mostly Stockman and Bradshaw, which like I like both of their art. So like that's
the artwork.
It's
it's fine. It's just there's no cohesion to it. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah. I see it.
It's just it. Unlike the last issue, which is a good way of doing if you've got to have multiple artists, it wasn't nearly as cohesive in this particular issue. And I think that maybe Bradshaw got the script pretty late, and then they realized they've got to do more parts. They didn't have enough pages, or they're hitting a tight deadline, obviously, because you've got the big event that's starting, literally the following week from this being published. So you've got to finish this, it's a hard deadline. So maybe that was the reasoning behind it. I'll be honest, it felt extremely anticlimactic.
That might be it too. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, it felt like there was more that he wanted to do with this particular story, but we have to do the event. It's the big spring event, so we've got to do it.
Yeah.
Because the event at the end of the year, or really the summer event, is going to be issue 1000.
Yeah.
So, and we are now at 987, so we're 13 issues away. So we're 6 months away. So we're in March, so that's going to be putting us in September for issue 1000. Yeah, it's just anticlimactic. It's not, to me, it was a very unsatisfactory ending to the story.
I think what I don't like too is that Hellgate is still around. He's still out there. Like there hasn't really been they kind of just like, tricked him and bailed, I think, right? Isn't that what happened?
It's extremely unsatisfactory.
So he's still out there and he's probably coming back, which I'm just kind of done with that, like.
Yeah, I was hoping that him being punched into space was going to be like the final chapter of that.
Yeah.
Now, we have this dangling plot thread that we're not going to pick up for the next 2 months. Right? We got 6 months till 1000, and we're going to essentially, I'm not going to say waste time, because I think out of all the most recent crossovers events, the one that has needed to happen, has been festering in the background, has been All New Venom and Spider-Man, because of Mary Jane being All New Venom.
Sure.
I will say this, it does a better, to me, this next issue does a better job as a preview of the consequences of Peter's actions, and how that's going to reverberate throughout the rest of the event. But I kind of feel like that I have not read Carnage. I've read parts of Venom here and there sparingly. There was a great meta joke in next week's issue. I don't know if you read it, or this week's issue, that I'm sure is going to get memed to death. But this one, what do you think about your grade?
I'll give it a 7.9.
Okay, so 7.9. So you're being a little more generous than me, because I'm giving you the 7.4. To me, this did. We're finally getting what we want, right? Peter back in Earth and not in space anymore.
Yeah.
But I at least wanted them to tell a coherent story.
Right.
And it became, let's just play the comedy element with the people, and the confrontation with Ben and Peter was unsatisfactory for me. And it just makes me feel like it's gonna get swept under the rug, and we're not gonna get like Ben's motivations, because we never got Ben's motivations. Why was he posing as Peter?
Yeah, it's I think because these two arcs are so strange, because it's because they don't necessarily work without the other one.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think the Norman one probably was the stronger one, because it was closer to Spider-Man, more or less.
It felt more like a Spider-Man story. It touched upon important Spider-Man characters. The thing about the entire space story is that there is no cohesive connection between any of the characters that were either created for this story or were brought in for this story. And it was, while I think a lot of people have craved something different from Spider-Man for a long time,
Yeah.
this was different for the sake of being different.
I think it was, well, and I think the goal was to kind of, basically to tell a story, to tell like a Peter story, and like, having basically, trying to have him kind of get his groove back, like, and
Well, and it
how,
to
like,
me,
how is he going to fight this, impossible threat?
right. I
But
think
we still have that impossible threat out there, which is fine, but it leaves us with having to wrap up the Ben thing and the Aunt May thing for this issue, which is kind of like, and then, get the space people out of here, which is kind of like, well, I think it maybe would have been more satisfying if there was like a big kind of climactic thing, more of a climactic fight with the impossible threat, instead of like basically having loose ends wrapped up that were kind of just not totally explained that well with the Ben thing, and then the Aunt May thing just being more of the same that we've had, with every run. Essentially, we've kind of talked about that, like Aunt
I mean,
May,
it's been done to freaking death. I mean,
the Aunt May, like, the Spider-Man, the weird Spider-Man stuff alienating Peter from Aunt May is like, it's a long running trope that's been like every run since Slott left, basically.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Kelly basically just did it twice,
yeah. I mean, and
more or less.
the previous two writers have made Aunt May and Peter at odds for reasons. And definitely we'll talk about that more,
And I
obviously,
know that,
next issue.
I mean, and Spider-Man's not,
On one hand, I get
Spider-Man comics aren't high art,
Yeah.
it's entertainment. It's, nice entertainment, like, but it's just, you start, the long running story now is, it feels like they're recycling too much stuff, like too close together.
Agreed. The other thing that I do understand from the overall tapestry of these two stories is that Peter Parker is important, right?
Yes.
It,
Yes.
like the whole point of him being in space, him
Yeah.
losing his mojo, him
Yeah.
realizing, the guy that's supposed to make him stronger basically says, "Bro,
You don't need that. You don't need this. You don't want this.
It's here that
Yeah.
makes you stronger. It's here that makes you stronger." And I'm pointing my heart in his head. It's not the physical.
Mhm.
And so I get what they attempted to do. It's just not as good of execution as I would want. And I feel like that this could have been done in like 2 less months.
Yeah.
I feel like that this was it's just, yeah. And I think the jumping back and forth, which,
Yeah.
I mean, this would be, the space story would be Amazing Spider-Man. The Norman story would be Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nod, nod. So I get it. This is kind of old school, and it was a unique experiment. But I just want a good cohesive story with Peter at the sole focus. And credit to Kelly, because he's not as big of an idea guy, concept guy as maybe a Slott and when it comes to doing spin-offs and stuff like that. But
His character writing is pretty good.
the
Decent,
voices for the
pretty good.
characters are not inauthentic, and I think that is a good thing. I do. And I while I was disappointed by particularly last week's issue, man, I will be honest, because now we can kind of look ahead to Death Spiral.
I do think that I thought it was funny, in the end of this issue. I thought it was funny when Simbi is just faking being sick. I thought that was
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like he's just like very, dramatic about it. And it's like and Glitch is like and he like he's like, "Oh, she's sick," and Simbi is faking it for attention, and he's just like he's like bleh, and it's like I thought that
Yeah.
was funny.
Yeah, which I mean, Simbi's like an overgrown dog, so I can see
Yeah.
that. Again, corporate synergy, got to
Right.
uh,
I think that is odd synergy. That's the thing. The Simbi thing is so odd because it's basically synergy with the
the
Spidey and his
toddler.
Amazing Friends show.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, I feel like you're not necessarily going to give a child who is the audience for that show an Amazing Spider-Man comic. Like, I mean,
yeah.
it's not
Considering
that
the amount
bad,
of
but it's like,
blood and the amount of like violence,
yeah. I'm not
especially
trying
like
to
in last issue.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're gonna give the audience for that show. It's like, here's your first issue, son. It's Norman all
Norman
bloody
Osborn
and
as Spider-Man.
yeah, it's Norman Osborn as Spider-Man, getting the just hell beaten out of him by
Yeah,
Hobgoblin. He's all bloody and it's like, okay, like,
on the edge of death.
yeah.
You know,
But it's like, here's Simbi in the thing, and yeah, it's like it's kind of a it's a character. It's kind of a cute idea, and it's like, okay, because they don't want to traumatize the kids with Venom, I guess. So they're gonna make him, a kind of a gremlin, like a mischievous gremlin type. That's just kind of a pain in the ass, I assume. But I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. Is that the best thing to do? Like, do we have to put it in the actual book? Like, you can just do that for the show. I think people would understand, but I don't know.
yeah. Again, and speaking of symbiotes, I mean, obviously we're going to be overran with symbiotes. That spiral
Will
is.
Cindy make it?
I forgot. It's been so long.
You forgot
This
there's a
event was
Cindy.
no. This event was Death Spiral was teased apparently during Free Comic Book Day last year.
Oh, jeez.
That's been a year.
I don't even know. Did we read? I don't know.
Because when I was looking at the reading order for the books, they brought it up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Now I think this is again, if you are not reading Carnage, the Eddie Brock Carnage book, you're going to be freaking lost because I am. I know that Eddie has the Carnage symbiote.
Yeah.
I know that he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. What I don't know is I'm at a loss when it comes to this story. I guess I'm gonna have to sit down and get on Marvel Unlimited and read the books, leading up to this, because I think by this point most of the books are on Marvel Unlimited now. Did it make it 10 issues? I can't remember. I'll have to
Perhaps,
look.
maybe. It should have.
So, yeah, we're gonna start. So next episode, we're gonna do the one shot and the 2 issues of Amazing Spider-Man and Venom. So that's gonna be in a couple of weeks, and then we will do following up on that. So the next, basically through the month of the rest of it, March into April, we will be doing the bi-weekly shows like we used to. We're not doing Ultimate anymore, so there won't be like any like filling in between the gaps, so to speak. I think we're going to do a Black Cat story because by the time we get through this event, that book will be done. So we're kind of like split that up into a couple of episodes. So that's kind of the meta plan, so to speak. I think we'll have Ashley on for that, and maybe Neil. Yep. So that's kind of the the gist of what we've got for the next like 3 months of programming. If you want us to cover something else, let us know. Leave a comment down below if you are doing it. I know Ryan has left. He was in the live chat, but he has now gone to bed. So he's catching up on the rest of the episode after the fact. So final thoughts for you, Adam.
I'm glad these two storylines are over.
Yeah, let me go through the variant covers right quick because I did not do that, and I set these up, and I might as well go through it. So, all right, so this is the Amazing 21 Amazing Visions cover.
That's a good one.
This is the David Nakamura. This is the red block variant cover. We have Rick Rude, kind of Ditko Bermuda-esque, very Rick Rude-like, if you've ever seen a Rick Rude drawn Spider-Man. This one is Demio. This is issue 22. This is Nakayama's other cover, which has the first one had Peter as Spider-Man. The other has Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman. Again, she was never a thing until now. Sorry. This one's interesting. This is the statue from McFarlane Toys of the Lizard, done in a toy photographer style. So kind of a new McFarlane cover. Kind of not.
Oh, well, the Invincible Spider-Man team up reprint came out today, and that does have a new McFarlane Spider-Man cover on it.
This is the Amazing Visions number 22. Let me take the scroll off so you can see the whole thing. This is for those. The first Amazing Visions was Kraven the Hunter.
He went out of order.
Yep, my bad.
I don't know if that was Bermejo's fault or Marvel's fault, but those should be switched.
Yeah, this should be 21, and the other should be 22.
Yeah.
So this is based on Web of Spider-Man number 1. Bell Tower, Peter's wearing the symbiote. This is the Hell's Kitchen variant. I don't know why Peter's wearing a bulletproof vest, but this one's done by Anadito. Simone Demio. I already showed this cover, sorry. And then this is Simone Blanchi. We've got the Goblin and Spider-Man swinging through the city. So that is the variant covers for the books. Like to go through those towards the end of the episode, kind of give it a little bit of visuals for our viewing audience. So if you have not already, as we wrap this episode up, support us over at Patreon, patreon.com/Spidey Network. Goodies you get include the Books of X podcast. So if you want to see me, Ashley, and Neil talk about the Krakoan era of X-Men, you can do that over on the Patreon, patreon.com/Spidey Network. We've got Voices from the Eyrie, the video versions of Voices from the Eyrie. Voices from the Eyrie finally returns. They usually take a couple months off in January and February, and they are back starting in March as they get closer and closer to wrapping up season 2. Of course, if you have not already listened to the Vaults shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started it all here on the Spidey Radio Network, and Spectacular Radio, the show all about the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, you can do those over there. And of course, you can also go listen to Amazing Spider-Man Classics. Season 1 is Josh Don from Clone Saga Chronicles and John M. Wilson. Season 2 is Jack and Javi talking about Spider-Man from the beginning as a father and son duo. Show that's about to join the Vault series is the Sal Buscema era podcast. The late, great Sal Buscema recently passed away, and you can listen to us talk about all of his artwork over his legendary run on Spectacular Spider-Man. And of course, Make Mine Mayday, the show all about Spider-Girl and her world, will be happening very soon. So, and of course, our supporters for all of our shows, like our sensational tier: Allison, Cindy, Casey, Doug, Ed, Eric, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Joyce, Catherine, Kale, Laura Howard, Lump Moose, Master Dremin, Phoenician, RJ, Vanessa, Vicky, David, and Ian. Thank you guys for your support. You got our spectacular tier of Ryan, who was in the comments, and Tara. Thank you for your support as well as spectacular patrons, and our VIPs, Vinkman, Walter, and Lord Eric. Thank you guys for your support, supporting us as we continue to grow here on the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, if you're listening to us after the fact or on the audio edition. We'll see you next time here on the Spidey Dude Radio Network.